Okay, welcome back. Time for our second keynote of the day now, and that is Schneider Electric, our sustainability strategy. That's with Capucine Dourdin Jeunet, Director of Sustainability Business Division MEA at Schneider Electric. Capucine, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, how are you?
I am very, very well indeed. We've got off to a great start today. The audience is looking fantastic online. Plenty of questions coming in. So the floor is yours, and I'll be back with a Q&A at the end of your presentation.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Capucine Jeunet. I'm very happy to be with you this morning. So I'm leading the Sustainability Business Division within Schneider for Middle East and Africa. As you know, Schneider is a global specialist in energy management and automation. So basically, we are your digital partner when it comes to sustainability and efficiency. So during this keynote today, we'll explain to you our sustainability strategy with the focus on climate change, and then we will see what is doing these very specific business units for the region. So let's start with Schneider and sustainability. So when it comes to sustainability, we play on both sides of the equation. So of course, as an industrial, we have a strong sustainability strategy and we are committed. So we were one of the first company in the world to disclose about our sustainability initiative, and we are doing that since 2005. We are recognized, so very proud to say that we have been recognized as the most sustainable company in the world by Corporate Knight in 2021. And we are also reporting and are recognized by the Dourdin Sustainability Index, the CDP, and other associations. And we are forward-looking. So from decades now, we are building this sustainability strategy. We just launched in 2021 our Schneider Sustainability Impact Program, and we will talk, of course, about that with 6 long-term commitments. And we have a full carbon pledge, and we must reach net zero by 2050. So basically, we are leading by example in our own ecosystem, and what has been done internally, we are proposing this solution to our customers with a very data-driven approach. So when it comes to sustainability, digitalization is key because, of course, the first pillar will be the data, how to have reliable data. So we have this pragmatic approach, and we have a full business unit dedicated to support our customer to define their sustainability strategy. So my division, sustainability business. We are roughly 3,000 experts in over 100 countries. So we have the capacity to support our customer everywhere in the world. So of course, policies, regulation won't be the same in America compared to Middle East. So basically, we are flexible and we adapt our solution to the geographies. We are leading the consultancy when it's come to power purchase agreements, a fantastic tool to tackle the Scope 2. And to add renewable on the mix when it's possible, again, due to the legislation. Digitalization is key, so we have a platform, Resource Advisor, to gather all this information and to monitor, to track all the KPI linked to the sustainability area. So this is what Schneider is doing internally and externally. So let's focus now on the pure sustainability strategy within Schneider. So as I said, when it's come to sustainability, this is in our DNA, we have a long way back on this area. But you know, disclosing since 2005, we realized 5 years ago that it was not enough. Everybody knows that we need to accelerate. We don't have any more time. So basically, we change our program and we define KPI from 2021 to 2025 with target to reach. So we have our 6 long-term commitments. Each long-term commitment are linked to all the sustainability development goals defined by the UN. So in each categories, we will have other target to be reached by 2025. So if we take the first one, which is climate, we have 3 targets that must be reached by 2025. First one will be, of course, engagement of our suppliers to decrease their scope 1 and scope 2 by 50% by 2025. And I'm very proud to say that we have a very good commitment with our top 1,000 suppliers. We need to grow our revenue, green revenue, to 80%. And we need to deliver 800 million tons of saved and avoided emission. But we will really talk about these climate targets. Then it will go to resources. So, of course, we need to increase the green content in our product, and it must reach 50% of green contents by 2025. So it's tomorrow. Hopefully, we are on track. Of course, we need to reduce the use of plastic for our products. So this is linked to the resources. When it comes to trust, very important also, one of the pillars. So basically, it will be internally and externally. So externally with our suppliers. So we are really, really strong on that. And our strategic suppliers have to provide decent work to their employees. And when it's come to our own employee, we monitor the level of confidence of our employees within the organization. Equality, so of course to increase gender diversity on the top management and with our leaders. And we also have a foundation, and basically in terms of equality and fundamental rights, we provide access to energy to 50 million people within the world. Something very important also, and we are doing that for decades, but we have to reach 50 million by 2025. Generation, of course, the next generation, which is key for an organization like Schneider. So basically, we have a strong policy when it's come to our trainee, our fresh graduate, and our apprentice. So to have the next generation and to prepare them to be the future leaders within the organization. And we also train 1 million people on a difficult situation in energy management. So we need to reach this level by 2025. And then local community. So of course we have this global target that must be reached at a global level, but each country president must also define 3 local targets to empower the local communities, because we consider that as a key success to be successful in each geography. So this is, in a nutshell, our long-term commitment. Everything is public, so if you want more details, you can go on our dedicated website linked to sustainability. But basically, this is what we are doing, and we must be successful by 2025. So if we are focusing on the climate change now, we have very, very strong ambition. So I will try in a nutshell to sum up everything. So first of all, before jumping on the carbon pledge and what will be the target, I would like to talk about the carbon footprint for you to understand how massive it is when it comes to scope 3. So basically, if we take where are our emissions? So basically, our carbon footprints emission are generated in our operations. So this is scope 1 and scope 2, of course. So when it comes to scope 1, it will be, of course, the use of fuel, the company cars, and our SF6 leaks. And the scope 2 will be linked to the consumption of electricity within our sites. Then we have the suppliers, which is our upstream emission. Of course, on this category, if we take the 15 categories of the scope 3, we have the main categories will be represented by the purchase of raw material, which is major to produce our products, but also by the logistics, the transport, and the waste. And if we go downstream, so still the scope 3, but linked to our customers, it will be the use of our product and the end-of-life treatment, of course. So what does it mean in terms of numbers? Just for you to understand a little more about this carbon footprint and what will be the initiative to tackle this carbon footprint. So basically, upstream emission, 7 million. operation, of course, it's a very, very little amount, and we have the downstream emission. As you can see on the supplier side, 75% are linked to the purchase of raw material. So something we are already working on to be successful by 2050, to be net zero. But why I'm presenting this slide, the very interesting point will be to understand that the massive part of our emission are linked to our customer and to the use of our product. This is linked to the Joule effect of our product. So we need to tackle that. And this is more than 90% of our global emission. So basically you take Scope 3, it represents 99% of our global emission. And if you are focusing on the Scope 3, we need to tackle the downstream emission. This is what we have built for decades now with our carbon pledge. So what does it mean? How we will tackle that? So different milestone, of course, we're not going to be successful in 1 year. So the objective is to be net zero by 2050. This target has been validated by SBT, Science Based Target Initiative, and to be successful by 2050, we have several milestones. So of course, first milestone will be 2025. So what will be the main initiative? I will say first one will be the Zero Carbon Project. With this project, we engage our 1,000 top suppliers, and they have to decrease by 50% their emission by 2025. So basically, as we already said, we can't do that alone. So we need to engage our suppliers, and we have defining this program to be successful. Second pillar by 2025 will be, of course, the green material. I already talked about that, but we need to improve the green material content in our final product by 50% by 2025. And again, we are on track. Other initiative will be the packaging. So 100% of our primary and secondary packaging is free from single-use plastic. And we are using, of course, recycled cardboard. And the last initiative by 2025 will be the electric vehicle. So, of course, we have this on our Scope 1 with our all car fleet. So basically, we need to improve by 15% CO2 efficiency in transportation. So basically, this has been defined. We are tracking and monitoring this KPI to be successful by 2025 at the first milestone. Second one, 2030, net zero. In our operation without carbon offset. Challenging, but basically also well designed. So we have several initiatives. First one will be, of course, to save, to reduce as much as possible. So we commit to double our energy productivity, to phase out our SF6 from our products, and to increase our energy efficiency by 10% every 3 years. So this is the first pillar to be successful by 2030. Second one will be electrification. Of course, we are talking a lot about electrification. We have the full business unit dedicated to electrification. So we need to switch from fuel-based to electric-based energy. So this is fundamental to be successful. And of course, we need to decarbonize. So we need to switch as much as possible to renewable electricity sources. And so basically, we are part of the Renewable Energy 100, which is an association, and we must be successful to achieve this 2030 goal without carbon offsets, thanks to the renewable. When it comes to 2040, 2050, we are still very ambitious. So 2040, carbon neutral, Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3. So, of course, all the preliminary milestone will support us to be successful. And 2050, net zero without carbon offsets for Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3. So as you have understood, Scope 3 is very massive. It's a big challenge. So basically, we are already working on it to be successful. And for that, we need to engage our suppliers. We have seen a big momentum. On the last COP, it was really interesting to see how the Scope 3 was highlighted and how everybody is moving forward to tackle the Scope 3 because we need collaboration to be successful on this area. So, my division, I hope I still have time. When it's come to my division and what Schneider is doing for his partner, so what has been done internally, we can support our customer considering the different maturity level. So basically, we support our customer to define the full strategy, ESG strategy, materiality assessment, link, of course, to the SDG goal, and also on the climate change. As the topic today was climate change, I will focus on that, but basically, we have also the capacity to define the full ESG strategy. So it has been clear data will be key. So we define the scope 1, the scope 2, and the scope 3, how to have a strategy without knowing where are your emissions. So basically, we start with the basic, I will say, emission, and based on that, we build the full carbon roadmap, identifying the different levers, microgrid, electrification, source panels, solar panel, renewables, power purchase agreements. So basically, based on all the tools available on the market, we are able to define the carbon roadmap. So baselining, we calculate the scope, and then we have a very pragmatic approach. So we try to reduce, to replace, and to balance, to tackle scope 1 and scope 2. So to reduce, we will decrease the energy consumption. Replace as much as possible, we switch to low carbon sources, renewable sources, and we balance. So when it's not possible, we define the strategy with carbon offsets. And then we go to the big piece of the cake, which is the scope 3. So we engage a supplier. So there is no one model to do that. So there is different things that could be done. And basically we engage a supplier, which are key to be successful on the decarbonization roadmap. So basically, it's what we are doing, what has been done successfully internally, and how we can support our customer. If we focus on Middle East and Africa market, it's a little more challenging. We are still on regulated markets. Access to renewable is increasing, but we have still some policies that are a little more complicated to tackle easily scope 2. So basically, hopefully, we see this big momentum for the last 2 years. We stuck up within the region with the big momentum, specifically in UAE and Saudi. So basically, it is launched, and we really hope to see more and more initiative within the zone to be successful to be net zero at a global level. So this is all for Schneider Electric. So happy to move to the questions.
Lovely, thank you very much indeed. That was very, very thorough, and we have plenty of questions that have come in, so I'll get to those quite quickly now. First question I'll go to is from Rim A. Shahain. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. The question there is about how green content might reduce carbon emissions. How much of your policy really relies on technical and logistical matters to make sure you can achieve it? How do you balance all of those matters to make sure you achieve those green and sustainable targets?
So, sorry, based on the logistic and on the?
Thinking about logistics, thinking about the technical things you do, how important are they to achieve the targets you've set?
Of course. So first of all, I will say that the starting point will be the strategy. So you need to know where you are going and what you want to achieve. Second one will be the technology you need to implement. And we see today that most of the companies in the world struggle to implement the strategy. Technology today exists. We were talking about electrification. We were talking about the green product. So basically, today we have the technology to be successful on net zero. We are talking a lot about hydrogen. There is new technology coming on the market, but which are not scalable today. But there is technology available. We need to implement this technology. It will be key to be successful.
Next question. I'll get through as many of these as quickly as I can because there are a lot of questions coming in. This is from Penkov. And the question is about government regulations. For you, how do you balance the need of governments to regulate and set down rules against an organisation like Schneider Electric having your own targets? Where's the balance between the two?
Well, honestly, I will say with the regulation, strong regulation and policy coming from, the public sector, it will be much more easier to move forward. We don't have time. So basically, any regulation will be helpful to support the journey to net zero. So the balance is quite easy. It would be much more better to have regulation, specifically in this part of the world, which are a little late, when it's come to regulation.
Next question is about, say, you're going through the targets you have set there for 2025. How important is it for you that all the targets you set are realistic? Because it's very easy for anyone to put down targets and say, we want to achieve this by then. How crucial is it for you to make sure the targets you are setting are, yes, ambitious, but yes, realistic as well?
Absolutely. That's why we have this kind of fantastic framework like SBT, external framework to validate the target, because it must be realistic. As you said, ambitious but realistic. We can put each kind of target. If it's not realistic, it's a nonsense, and the sustainability strategy won't be implemented. So basically, that's why we are pushing our supplier, our customers to be part of SBT, to have validated target like that. We perfectly know that it's realistic.
And one final question, and I guess this is valuable advice for anyone working in the sustainability sector, and that is, I'm sure you review very carefully how you are doing against your targets. If you ever feel you are not reaching those targets, aren't close to them for any reason, which I'm sure can happen, how do you go about correcting the course and reviewing what you do? What advice would you have to people there?
So first of all, we were talking to the digitalization. So it will be the key to monitor, to track, because we need to know exactly where we stand. COVID, this kind of situation could be, really challenging. So we were talking about resiliency. Sometimes things happen and you are not able to reach the target. So you have to re-update your target. This is something feasible, but you need to communicate. There is no reason to, everybody could have some issue sometime. You just need to be transparent, to explain why it's not going to be achievable, and to re-update the target and to reschedule the timeline, because at the end, we have to be successful by 2050 as an organization. And you have to define the journey. If you need to postpone of 2 years, it's not a big issue if you are successful to reach the targets.
Absolutely. Well, Capucine, thank you so much for your time. We've got more questions than we've got time to get through, so I do apologise we've not got through all of those. But you've been so generous with your time, and thank you very much for joining us here at Sustainability Live Dubai.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
You too. Thank you. An absolute pleasure.